Hey folks, welcome back once again to Indaba Africa. This is Chris coming to you live from central Pennsylvania. And today's special feature, I have a guest from South Africa who is a young, quite talented artist or draw or graph. I don't know how you describe this, but to me it's an artist. So I probably got it wrong, but I found it fascinating. For those of you who may watch Ronaldo Ho's program and have noticed a interesting drawing, sketch, caricature, whichever you want to call it, that sits behind him, hung famously on the wall, and you see him on that. It's pretty cool with Pickle Rick being represented by someone who isn't Pickle Rick, and a few other things taking place there. But I have the artist who drew that here on the channel today, and he goes by the tag Never for Fame. His name is Corné Nel, and I'll have him on here in just a moment. So we'll get started. We'll take a look at some of his artwork and talk about how he got to where he's at, if he's always been doing art, and what's going on in his life, especially with the lockdown, folks. You know, a big reason why we do these interviews is to let people know about the impact of the lockdown across the board for people professionally and personally. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and bring him in here in just a second. Let me admit him, and I will take myself off the screen. I'm there. Whoops. Whoa, that's big. What happened there? Okay. For some reason, mine's all messed up now. I got to fix this. Let me see if yours is correct. Okay. All right. No, that's messed up too. Oh my goodness. What happened there? All the work I did went out the window. It's all messed up. I don't understand what happened here. Anyway, so Corny, let me get you back on the screen there. And for some reason, it's strange. Welcome. How are you today?
Thank you for having me, Chris. I'm doing awesome, and yourself?
I'm well, thanks. Let me ask you this quick question. Did I get it correct? Is describing you as an artist, is that the correct way to say it? Or you know, I'm not too good at these things.
I don't know, to be honest. I wouldn't consider myself an artist. I just feel like I'm a guy with a hobby that getting okay-ish with it. So, but yeah, I guess in the sense of artistic expression, yes. But as an occupation, that's another story.
Gotcha. So, how long have you been doing this sort of thing? Well, I mean, is it a lifelong thing? Have you always been drawing, or is it something recent?
Well, I guess you know, as a kid, I started drawing. But it was nothing that special. I think where it really took off was since 2014. I started playing around with the programs and started developing my own style with it, and from there, it sort of took a serious note. I've been pushing since.
So, I really like your handle, Never for Fame. Where did that come from? That's pretty clever.
That's a secret I'm going to have to take to the grave.
Okay, that's fine. We'll let you get away with that.
No, it's words that I heard somewhere, and it resonated through another little story. But yeah, and just ever since, that has been my motto.
Well, it's a pretty good one. I like it. It's a fascinating sort of title that you came up with, their little tagline, so that people can identify you. So we're going to take a look at some of the stuff you've got on your Instagram page here in a second. But do you draw inspiration from something? Is there something that motivates you specifically to come up with the things you do, or is it just right off your head? Hey, I want to draw something. Let's just go do it.
I'd say I'm not completely uninspired. I like street graffiti, tattoo styles. So it's got a bit of a darker edge to my artwork. I think that's sort of the main inspiration, but for the most part, it's just the random thoughts that I have sometimes. So yeah.
Well, nothing wrong with random thoughts, especially if they bring something interesting to it. So what I'm going to do now for just a second, so people can get a kind of a quick look at this, and I'll go periodically back to it, is bring your Instagram thing on the page, your Instagram account on the page, so we can look at some of these and maybe discuss some about the inspiration or what you were going for here. Is that okay?
Oh, awesome.
Okay, so let's do that, and let's see if we can get that part right here. But I'm going to have to move this up because I know that. So I'm sorry, folks. I'm in the background in the studio doing things, so I have to bring it up so that we're hidden. Let's see if it works. No, okay, not entirely correct. Here we go. Now we get it. All right, there you go. Okay, now we got it. Okay, so this is your Instagram page right there, Never for Fame. I like that logo. You got black on white. Let's see, you got 52 posts on here and fame, and then what's with are those shotguns? The double-barreled shotguns?
Yeah, so this was artwork that I did for a client, and they're in the marijuana industry. They're doing lights for, you know, to home grow basically the plants. And one of the lights that they had, the idea that they had was double barrel. So what you're seeing there is sort of like a mad scientist just like pushing the two double barrels. It's just a little graphic, yeah.
All right. I get that now, but I didn't get that initially. I guess I see kind of the flowers, but I thought they were lilies or poppy flowers. I wasn't sure. It threw me off. And then what's with the Hornet
Yeah,
Racing?
this was
Sorry.
actually my initial. Oh, Hornet Racing is another client. He has this racing team, and he thought he wants to have a Hornet that he can put on his car, but then with like the NAS tank on the back and just like a mean graphic to really have that edge to his car.
No, that's pretty cool. Awesome. I like that. The lettering, the coloring, of course. I guess it's like a nitrous oxide tank on his back or something like that. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
And then I like this one here, the Tiger King. That's that Netflix show, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know who hasn't watched it.
I haven't.
I was caught up in the whole drama and the whole series, and haven't you watched it?
No, it
No,
it
Chris,
sounds
you have to jump on that. It's amazing.
it sounds completely asinine.
I think in one way, I'm sort of the Tiger King of drawing. You know, it's just something that takes over your world, and you get to a stage where you pretty much do anything. I think that he outweighs me in terms of what he would be willing to do and sacrifice for it. But you know, credit to him, he stuck with his dream.
Yeah, well, I guess we could say that about him, but oh, and look at this. Who's this? That looks like some character from Nelson Mandela Bay there with a strange, ill-looking Cyril Ramaphosa and a Juju on the right-hand side there. And I guess those are meant to be the Twitter for his tweets. Is that what's flying out of Ronaldo's chest there?
Yeah, it's you know, Ronaldo always talks about Black Twitter on his channel, and yeah, he can infuriate some people, but so I thought, you know, people can get crazy on Twitter, so let's illustrate it with some crazy birds that are just flying all over the show.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. It looks like they're coming out of his chest as if they're part of him. But and I like how they have bloodshot, oversized eyes, and I also really like how you put bags under Ronaldo's eyes. That's awesome. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I can only imagine, you know, like in his position, and as you say, the defender of common sense, sometimes that can be a tiring job, especially if with some of the politicians that we have in South Africa.
What's this? Is that Quagga Smith? Wow, you did that for Quagga Smith?
Yeah, that is it's actually a campaign that I was fortunate to be a part of last year for the Springboks in the Rugby World Cup. SuperSport had sort of like a private launch that they did, and yeah, I was fortunate to be chosen. I was one of 5 artists, and I drew Kwagga Smith, Peter Steftoy, and Steven Kitsoff.
Now, are you talking about? Is it the Gallery of Champions? Is that the thing we're talking about? Are you there?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Connection's not the best. Connections in South
Yeah,
Africa.
can you hear me, Chris?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Connections in South Africa have been atrocious this week for people on that side. It's really had an impact on trying to interview people. Unati Kwaza was on my channel on Monday, and she kept fading out. She had to stop watching the stream, and then she had to turn the camera off, and it was still difficult. So apologies for that, folks. But that would be the red ants somewhere in between cutting the cables, I guess. So.
Yes. Sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. No, this is incredible. So you were part of this campaign. That's pretty awesome. And I guess was this an adjunct to the Stronger Together campaign that they put together for the team, or was it the Gallery of Champions just separate from that? Because I see you drew Stronger Together on there.
Yes, the campaign, the slogan was Stronger Together. It was a sort of, I think the marketing campaign they had behind that was sort of an homage to Japanese culture, and one thing that really stood out was the anime and the manga that, you know, the Japanese are famous for. So they had 5 of South Africa's illustrators / artists, and we sort of came up with this little campaign where we did these 15 illustrations. We had an event for it, and then these illustrations went live, and they were auctioned off. And the paintings were, the money that was collected for it was used to empower what is the word, kids, in the township, so that they have better access to sport, and just to uplift them a bit.
Well, that's interesting. It was how did that happen? I mean, excuse me. It's I don't think a lot of people are that familiar with your artwork. So I mean, how did you get a chance to be part of the Gallery of Champions? That's pretty impressive.
It was a fortunate thing. My girlfriend posted a tweet, or she saw a tweet from a guy called I don't want to butcher this guy's name, Mike Sharman, and he was the leader of the campaign. And they said that they were looking for artists, and everyone was posting and tagging people in it. And I was chosen. I was on a short list, and then they chose me out of the list that they had. So yeah. Yes. Yes. No, that's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. No. It's definitely. I think, how does the saying go? Fortune favors the brave. So opportunities, you have to take them when you get them. A little success story for me personally was Stephen Kitsoff's wife. She was the top bidder for the piece that I did for him, and she reached out to me and she was like, "Thank you, this is beautiful artwork." And she wanted to do like a personalized jacket for the World Cup that she wore as sort of as a support group. And I think it's in my highlights on Instagram. So yeah, that was my little victory out of this whole thing, to see that my artwork is actually there in Japan. And so that was a cool feeling. Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah, yeah. Oh, there I see. Awesome. No, that's awesome. Yeah, it's a caricature. No, it's a no, sorry. Uh, no, it's an art form that I prefer to at best try and not butcher. So, no, it's an interesting thing that you have to capture a lot of a person's features, and it basically accentuate or exaggerate them. And yeah, it's a bit not up my alley. I did something of sorts, in terms of creating characters that resemble people. I there was obviously the Ronaldo one, and then there was the the John Armstrong. It's a guy holding a camera, so it is a bit challenging, because you have a certain style that you want to put into your artwork, and then sometimes you might offend someone if you draw their eyes too big, or the nose is a bit off, and it's like, dude, does this person really visualize me this way? So, but no, it's fun. Yeah, no, and the other thing is, sorry, there's a bit of a delay. The other thing is, I remember when we were at the Gallery of Champions, I had this interview, and they asked me, so what was a challenging part for you? And when I drew the rugby players, when it came to their lips, it got weird at one point, because it felt almost as if you're really getting intimate with this rugby player, because you're like just gently drawing the lips. So, yeah.
Hearing me? People even hearing me? Oh, they can't hear me. No, they can't hear me. Sorry about that. Has this been this the whole time? I just noticed the chat. No sound, Chris. Wow. Okay, well, that's all screwed up. Sorry about that, Corné. I didn't realize people couldn't hear me. They've been telling me all along. I just saw it now. I've been so busy trying to fix.
That's fine, no problem.
No. My apologies, folks. That's because I've been trying to fix the screen, because my settings got all worked up here. So, yeah, he is quite talented, Nikita Reeves. Thank you for that. My apologies, folks, for not hearing that. There is sound. The sound has not been me between the connection. No, Laura Salas says, looks like I got swine flu for my G7 satellites. No, it's totally a headspace and timing issue because of rushing to try to sort things out. And as you can see, I've been adjusting the frame the whole time. So, all right. So let's start all over again. My guest, no, I'm just kidding. So let me get back to your pictures on your art here. Let me do this very quickly and go back to that. What a terrible, terrible thing. I really messed that up. That's the first time I've ever done it. So what I want to ask you about your art on here is that it seems like you, and I don't want to say this because I don't think it's dark, but you have a lot of, use a lot of dark colors in your things that you draw. Obviously that's intentional. Is that just because you have a preference for it, or you think it comes out and looks better? Like this thing right here, some kind of, it looks like a shield of some sort, sleeve emblem for a shirt design. What looks like a cross. That one obviously really, it pops because it's in black and white. That's obviously an intentional thing that you're doing?
Yeah, personally, my favorite color is black and white, but sometimes you need to push yourself out of your comfort zone if you're really trying to express something, or really trying to bring something to the viewer's attention. So if I could, I would draw everything in black and white. That's my personal preference, and that's my style. But sometimes the color popping, the people love it. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it's I like that. It's an interesting style, and like I said, I'm showing you that picture there of that crest. That looks pretty awesome. I like that. But then, of course, you're still using the color, or the two colors, black and white. But I guess it's kind of a bluish white here. This one here. I don't know if this is this lady with the looks like mouse ears or cat ears, and some kind of flame or smoke going around here. I guess it's vaping. She's vaping.
Yeah.
But that's a slightly different color. That's a nice approach.
Yeah. Yeah. What I've a little how can I put this? A little strategy that I've had before. What I've seen on other platforms where I've posted my artwork was people really responded to line work essentially, and if you had it in sort of a bit more of a bluish color, the contrast wasn't so hard, so it was softer on the eye. So it's a little tactic that I tried, but yeah, this is me just trying to break into the vaping market. So it's vape smoke around her, and she's got the eagle ears on top of her. So sort of, it's a trending thing. I see these eagles are popping up everywhere, so trying to grab attention from a lot of places.
No, it's well done, and as you said, the blue kind of makes a difference here. It really does kind of make it pop and stand out a bit. So that's kind of handy. I like that a lot. So you mentioned vaping, and look, I don't get the whole vaping thing. I really don't get it at all. I am angry about the demonization of vaping here in the United States. I don't see it as harming people, and there's been intentional effort to undermine the industry because there's, I guess, like one major company that had cornered the whole market for vape supplies, and they were attacked endlessly. And that really irritated me because people using politics to attack a viable business that wasn't harming anyone. Under spurious claims about health issues that they had no evidence of. Anyway, my point is that I never got the whole vape thing, but I defended the fact that people could vape. But man, I'll tell you what, in South Africa, it seems like everybody vapes, especially on YouTube. It's like the only thing they do is sit on YouTube and vape down there these days.
I think the key difference is if you look at vaping in America, I think the stigma that came with it is because a lot of teenagers and school children started vaping, and I think that's where sort of the whole bad influence vibe came from it. But in South Africa, I feel that it's sort of it's a more positive culture, and there's a lot of conspiracy theories and there's a lot of things that you can really dive into, but for the most part, what I've seen in the research that I've done, vaping is a way healthier alternative for people who are smoking, and it's built such a community, and it's such an amazing thing here in South Africa, especially. So yeah, and I wanted to break into that market, and I've been fortunate to work with a company, and I've done all their branding for them. So yeah, I know we love vaping here.
Yeah, no, it's just caught me by surprise when I started to attract a large South African audience, and then I bring people on to talk on the show for call-in shows or interview people. It's like everybody's vaping. I'm like, what am I missing out on here? Listen, a lot of people get tattoos as well. I don't have any tattoos, and I'm not about to start that stuff, so I'm not getting any tattoos either. But what I will say is that one of the comments in the chat,
I think.
Sorry. Yeah, we've definitely got a delay here. But one of the comments in the one of the comments in the chat here, someone said something about tattoos, and yeah, I think a lot of the drawings that you do would make incredible tattoos for people who want to get tattoos. Is that part of your intent as well? Do you design tattoos?
Yeah. I've had quite a few people approach me with tattoos. It's funny that you should mention that because that was the entire reason that I actually got into designing was. I've got a sleeve here, which I'm not going to reveal. But the main thing was I was looking at pictures online. I was looking, and I had this idea for what I wanted to do, and I just couldn't find it. So that's why I said, well, if you're not going to find it, then create it yourself. And through a massive process and a massive struggle, I finally did the design, and that's actually what hooked me onto illustrations and stuff like that. So I definitely say that my artwork is massively inspired with the tattoo style. It's at the end of the day, the what do you call it? The composition is it's very tattoo focused because you can take that and you can essentially apply that to a body part and it would actually work. So yeah, definitely tattoo inspired.
No, absolutely. It definitely has that look. So let me make a few not make a few comments. Let me read a few comments from the chat here really quick that are jumping out at me. So the first one, it says that Anna Marie Forster says, Chris, you have to tell the jokes again because your guest was really laughing. So apparently when my microphone was on silent, you were enjoying what I was saying and they had no idea what I was saying. So let me leave it at this. It was really, really funny. Super funny. Anyway, but the Right Reverend Rawhide said, awesome definition. Yeah, awesome.
That's between the two of us.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a state secret. But the Right Reverend Rawhide says, awesome definition. And then Reese Vandeveld says, hey, Corné did a design for me, and he's busy doing one for Yanni. Really? Well, where's mine at? Okay, I'm going to get in line queue here. Speaking of which, can people commission you for your artwork? I mean, is it, do you draw things for people? Obviously, you draw for people, but how do they do that? I mean, if somebody wants to get a drawing or a design for a tattoo or something for a shirt or something they want, how do they get in touch with you? Through your Instagram or your social media? And are you available to do it? Or see, when I did a character with Shink Art, they weren't busy, and when I sent it to them, and they suddenly got busy because of lockdown. Suddenly, everybody had nothing to do, so they wanted these things done. And the 3 weeks turned out to be about 7 weeks of waiting time. So, I mean, what do you have a backlog? Do you have that kind of clientele, or how does it work?
I will say I've been fortunate enough that recently business has actually picked up. Yeah, if you want personalized artwork, you can get in touch with me. My preferred method is through Instagram. I like to stay in touch there, and that's the place that has brought in the most business. So I'm mostly active on Instagram. Where I'm in the process of establishing a website and the whole works. But for the time being, yeah, please use Instagram. And no, I'm busy, but definitely I'll prioritize any client that comes through. So
Well, that also raises the next question, Corné, and that is this your day job, or do you have a day job, or is this a career that you're moving into, or that you've already moved to? How does this work? For some people, this sort of thing is a sideline. For others, it's an important part of what they do, or it's their only source of income. I'm just curious how that works for you.
well, it's I started with it in 2014, and it's honestly it's been a hobby. At the time that I did the Gallery of Champions, it was still a hobby. But since the beginning of this year, I've started turning this into a full-time thing, and this is the career that I'm going to pursue now. At the end of the day, I want to end up with a clothing line, and an established brand. But to get to that point, what I'm doing is illustrations and custom artwork for people. So yeah.
No, that's awesome. So Erica says, excellent work. I wish I could do art like that. Hey, Erica, you're not alone. I wish I could draw. I've got no talent, but I'm very impressed when I see talented people like Corne. It's really well done. And then James asked me, he said, Chris, have you ever tried vape? No. I've also never eaten pufferfish, and I'm not about to start. So, I mean, seriously.
We saying.
Go ahead.
No, sorry, Chris.
No, that delay is really
No, we
causing us
saying
problems.
we say in the vaping community, why have your dessert when you can smoke it? So you can't tell me that you don't enjoy apple pie or a cupcake here and there.
Oh no, you're right. I can't deny that. But I'm not really into the virtual apple pie. I prefer the genuine article, the real McCoy. Listen. So speaking of pufferfish, let me ask you, who thought this thing up? I mean, if you eat it, you die. So who came up with the idea of eating a pufferfish, and how many people had to die before somebody said, "Wait a second, maybe we should cook it differently"?
No, I think that's another mystery that we will never solve. But people sometimes bored, and when you're bored, you explore. So
No,
I think it's just a guy that had too much time on his hands.
No, I think you're right. I used to live in Ethiopia, and I don't care for coffee. For people know me, even though I drink these Starbucks things, it's mostly sugar and caffeine. It's not really about the coffee. There's only a little bit of coffee in there, but coffee, I consider it to be an evil substance invented by Satan to enslave mankind, and that's how I feel about coffee. But when I lived in Ethiopia, they tell the story.
I see coffee as inspiration.
As inspiration, yeah. Some people see it as the elixir of life.
Yeah.
But when I was in Ethiopia, the story with Ethiopia is the way that people came about having coffee is that this goat herder was out one day and his goats were chewing on bushes, and he noticed that they were getting all jumpy and bouncing around and they're full of energy. And he tried the coffee beans. And I don't know if you've ever tasted a coffee bean, but it's amongst the most vile substances you ever put in your mouth. How anybody ever got the idea to take that bean, to dry it, to grind it up, to put it in a pot of water, to boil it, and then drink it without sugar and 8 gallons of milk is just crazy. I never got that one.
I think and I think the same goes for milk. What was the first guy trying to do with that cow before he discovered milk? So,
well, come on, that's a little bit easier. I mean, we all discovered milk from Mama's teat, right out of the womb. So, I mean, we're accustomed to milk. It's just a question what your source was.
True that, but we're the only species that drinks another species' milk.
Yeah, that's because of a genetic mutation about 10,000 years ago, which let a lot of us tolerate lactose as adults. Otherwise, we would be able to do it. So thank goodness for that genetic mutation. But we're getting kind of far away from your art here. Let's get back to your art. I mean, I don't want you running off and drawing puffer fish and people milking cows. That's not part of your art scheme. So we don't want to get you in that kick.
It might be now.
Now, Kobus Janssen von Rensburg was talking about the image where I brought up with the bluish color lady that you drew with the ears, and he said, catfishing, cat ears, got it. Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. We live, I watch a lot of YouTube, and to me, it's amazing, what people are doing these days and making a living out of off of. But also, it's scary in what sense, culture has become where people just throw money at these girls that are half naked and they just dance in front of a camera and they make mega bucks. So it is something that people tend to enjoy.
Yeah, apparently. Now, on your other, let me pull this one up very quickly here from your Instagram channel once again. So we're looking at Never for Fame, Corné Nel's Instagram page, folks. And you've got this one here. It says Pug Life. This is obviously for dog lovers, I'm guessing, who have pugs.
Yeah, that was just something I thought. I started with the pug, and it was just a little. It's trying to do something that's a bit more friendly. That's not as dark and it's not involved skulls. And I think just that dark side of me came out again. I was like, okay, now put pug life in it and make it all gangster. So
No, it's pretty cool actually. So these images that you're doing here, some of these that you've added color to, they're really, really neat. Like here's one I'm going to pull up. It's interesting. It looks like, I don't, okay. Before I blew this up, I couldn't tell what it was. It says vape ape, but I thought it was like a protective mask for biological warfare at a distance. But now that I've brought it up, I can see it better. But I really like the color scheme here. You've got kind of like a teal and a, I don't know, kind of a purple or turquoise color there going on. That's pretty interesting one there.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, the funny thing is that design haunts me to this day because that is one of the designs that I personally am not very proud of. To me, there's a lot of things that I would have done differently in that, but for some reason that has just become my most popular design. So that you just have to give credit to the people. They like what they like.
Uh-huh. Interesting. So how long does it take for you to make something like this? I mean, I have absolutely no idea how long it would take to crank out one of these things. Because obviously, if like say a client or a customer goes to your Instagram page and says, okay, this is what I'd like. Can you draw it for me? You've got to conceive it in your head. Do you send a rough sketch, like a pencil sketch outline to your customer to say, is this what you're looking for? Am I on the right track? Or you just do the whole thing and go, here you go?
No. In terms of doing a rough sketch, I do that now because I've burned in the past where I've spent hours and hours on a piece of art and the guy's like, yeah, but I kind of want him to do this or kind of wanted a different direction. So yeah, it's important to take your client on the journey with you. But I think the biggest struggle is finding that balance where you meet what your client wants, but also your client has that trust in you as an artist to put your interpretation onto it and, put your stamp on it, if you will, your expertise that you have. But in terms of an illustration like that, I'd say we can bang that out in 3 days if really need be. It depends actually on the amount of freedom that a client gives you. So if a client wants multiple elements inside a design, it complicates it, and then you need to find that avenue of where these elements meet each other and how it actually works, and that can be time consuming.
Well, what I am going to say for the audiences here right now, folks, is that listen, it's a crying shame. How do you feel about this art? I think it's impressive, and I think pretty much everybody here has been very impressed with your art. But I think it's a crying shame that people don't know who you're welcome, Corny. But I think it's a crying shame that people don't know more about you. And I look at your channel, and I remember that Ronaldo gave you a plug last week, and I was already subscribed to your channel and on here on Twitter. And I think it was on Twitter. I think you had like 48 followers, and so I heard actually don't mind. I'm not following you on here. My bad. Look at that. Shame on me, not following you. Now I'm following you on here. I wasn't following you on Instagram, but I was following you on Twitter. Yeah, you had 48 followers on Twitter, and I was one of them, and Ronaldo mentioned it, and then people went over. So what I want to do right now to my audience is challenge folks. why don't you go over, since you like this stuff, and follow him on Instagram real quick. I suspect some people might not have an account, but if you have an Instagram account, go over there and follow Corné, Never for Fame. 282 followers right now. We'll see if we can't push him up closer to 300 before the stream is over. So give it a shot, folks, and see if you can help us out here. That would be awesome. Really awesome to get some more subscriber or more I guess followers. Yeah, it's followers on Instagram. So yeah, give it a shot, folks. See if we can get some else. Or maybe we have the good fortune, which is also the unfortunate situation in which everybody watching the show is already a follower, so they really can't add to your total.
No, honestly, thank you for the support. I truly appreciate this. Even the Ronaldo push, it was unexpected, and just seeing that, you know, people have such an organic reaction to my artwork, that means the world to me, and it's amazing to see. And I'm not one for many words, but thank you. I truly appreciate it.
Well, ever the tech guy, Yanni Fundeveld, has asked a question, which is a very good one here. So Yanni said, it'd be interesting to know his process of designing, now Yanni sounds like he's from California. It would be interesting to know his process of designing, like, does he use a tablet and digital pen? What apps is he using, or is it freehand?
Yeah, so for me personally, it's I start with the Apple iPad. I do most of my rough sketches on there, and then sometimes if you want to go for a really organic look and feel, you can use the artwork or the line work at least. Sorry, my apologies. You can use that directly into the sketch. Otherwise, it's transferring it to Illustrator or any other vector program, and then just build it up from there. So it's line work, then it's coloring, then it's shading, and then it's hopefully the client likes it, and then changes, and then it's issuing it.
Well, can I ask a question? I don't know if it's sensitive or it's not, but just to get an idea, I mean, because it's lockdown, a lot of people aren't working. Some people have suffered income loss, that sort of thing. But I'm sure that a lot of people would love to have something drawn. You're very talented. So I mean, is it fair to ask you, can we get an idea of what something like this costs? Is it like 10 million Rand? Which is $3 US, by the way? That's $3 US, 10 million Rand. No, but is there a set fee, or does it depend on what you're doing? I'm just curious.
I range anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 Rand for a piece. It depends on the complexity. But yeah, so it's within those brackets. I wouldn't overcharge someone and pay like 4,000 or 5,000 Rand for a piece of art, unless it's like an entire house that they want to do. But yeah, so it's generally there.
No, that's awesome. That's good to know. So thanks for sharing that, folks. So let's take a quick peek. I know we gained a couple followers on your channel. We gained 4, including me. So with the audience we have right now, that's about a 10% success rate. With that kind of success rate, I could be an ANC politician. 10% right. Yeah, good to go.
No, it's a skill to be that bad. Hey.
So yeah, listen. So this is still kind of a hobby. It's not your main sideline, so that's kind of good. But so what do you do in the real world? I mean, you got to have some kind of job, I would hope. You haven't been retrenched, have you, during the lockdown, or have you?
I'm not sure if we misunderstood each other there. I've transferred this now into a full-time thing, and
okay.
Yeah, before that, I was in steel construction. Used to work on the new power plant here in South Africa that they're taking 50 years to build, the Kusile power station. And then I was into signage. And I think that sort of was a very good transition, because you generally work with brand logos, imagery, and I think it was just the natural progression to go for this as a full-time gig. Obviously the company that I used to work for, they had been affected by, as everyone in South Africa, with this lockdown. But when the opportunity came, I just said to myself, and I was encouraged by a few people to turn this into a full-time thing. And I've been fortunate that this has really been sustaining me, and it's been going really good.
Yeah, no, there was not a misunderstanding. When we were talking about it, it was kind of garbled, and so I just want to make sure that the whole audience heard that this is your thing full time. So I just want to make sure I got it out there. But Yeah, no, that would be the power plant that last week that the ANC announced that they're pulling the permits for because of environmental conditions with the water. And so that massive 600 megawatt power plant that you were working on is now delayed yet again, even though it was nearing completion.
I can give you 2 hours worth of stories like that from what I witnessed when I was there. But yeah, let's not damage any companies on that. It's just it's a poorly managed project at the end of the day.
Well, it's yet again an ANC parastatal, so I think that says all we need to say about it, and we can move on from that topic pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So James says whole house for $5K. Cool, I'm in. Apparently James wants his house painted, so that's awesome. Rudy Roo says
one of those minimalistic houses.
no. We should make it clear that's only for RDP houses because they're the right size.
So first we were bad mouthing the ANC. Now we're looking at business opportunities.
hey, you take it where you can get it, brother. Take it where you can get it.
You never know. Yeah.
So Rudy Roo says that 1 to 2K is more than reasonable for original artwork. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that's a fantastic price. My character was somewhere in that range, and I was happy with what I paid for it. Let's see what else here. The thing I wasn't happy with is that what's that thing that Elon Musk started there? PayPal started charging me a fee to send anything to South Africa, which sucks.
Yeah.
That was free, and now there's a fee on top of it. Turds. They already take money off the exchange rate, which they think you're not clever enough to know, but we are clever enough to know that. Then they throw a fee on top. But yeah, 1 to 2K, that seems reasonable. That's what Rudy says. And Hendo doesn't have an Instagram account, so he can't follow you if he wanted to. And then the Right Reverend Rawhide, I don't know how we're going to do this, says, can you show us your sleeve work? Pretty please. I'm running the stream, and so I don't have access to that unless it's on the Instagram page. There's nothing on the Instagram page, is there?
No. Let me just quickly see something. The artwork for it, I'm not going to show it on my body. Unfortunately, I don't want to scare the people off that badly.
This is a G-rated for your general audience submissions show, so let's keep it that way.
I think it's more a case of if I stand up, I don't think the screen is wide enough to fit me in. So. Chris, as we spoke before, my Behance profile, if you go onto my Behance profile, the entire piece of art is on there, from the line work to the full color. It is literally the bottom piece. It's called Love.
Okay, let me pull that up for people because I have the link here. It's in the description, folks, but I'm going to pull up on the screen so everybody can see it. So let me just get over there. We had talked ahead of time. We weren't going to show the other social media. We're just going to focus on the Instagram since that's where most of his efforts been. But since the question came up, we will accommodate our viewership. Okay, so Corné, it's going to come up here in a second. Yeah, this is actually, I love looking at your Behance. By the way, for folks who don't know, Behance is a site that Adobe set up for content creators, for artists and graphics designers, and it's pretty cool. I actually have an account there. I don't remember why I have an account because I have no artistic talent whatsoever. but I do have an account there. It's probably because I've dealt with Adobe for 25, 30 years, and then they sent it out to me and said, hey, why don't you join it? Let me go. I'm going to bring this on the screen now, and it'll be, of course, a slight delay, so I'll keep talking. And then once it comes up on your side, you can jump in. But you did tell me it was like the last one at the bottom, if I heard you correctly?
Yes.
Okay, so at the bottom of the screen, what I see here is a lady with puffy brunette, brown, raven hair, and a tattoo on her shoulder.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so I'm going to bring that up on the screen. Hopefully it should be coming up about now for you. Oh, there we go. That came up differently than it looked. Oh, there we go. Okay. Wow. Is this what you want to see there? Who wanted to see that? The Right Reverend Rawhide.
Yes.
Wow, these are mean people, man. Where are they hanging out in townships? Somebody cut her breast. Look at that. She's got stitches on her breast.
Yeah, that is another story on its own. People, please don't crucify me for this, but I did commit a bit of plagiarism when I did this piece. It turned out that the girl that I used was, what's her name, from Hercules. And so this was literally my first attempt at ever doing something in terms of illustration work. So That was the holy grail. That's where it all started, and then everything else from there was just progression after progression.
All right, cool beans. That's quite an impressive site too. That link, by the way, folks, all these links, there's a lot of links to all the social media, are below the video in the description if you're curious and looking for that. But I'll put this one in the chat very quickly, save people the trouble going back and looking for it in case you want to pull that up. The Right Reverend Rawhide is gushing over his talent. Well, listen, Right Reverend Rawhide, you take it easy there, man. The guy had a stroke a few days ago. We don't need you overly excited. Calm down. Calm down. Yeah, how's that, Corné, for support for a channel? The Right Reverend Rawhide last week had a stroke at 8 o'clock in the morning, and in the afternoon show, which is evening time for you guys, he was watching my program from his hospital bed on his mobile. That's dedication to a channel.
I think that just shows the quality of content at the end of the day. But big ups to him, and well done to yourself. I mean, that's quite the story to tell.
It is. I'm gonna if the Right Reverend Rawhide doesn't mind, I'm gonna start using endorsement. The quality of this channel is so good. I'm watching it from my hospital bed.
It's better than the hospital food.
Well, yeah, it's got to be better than the hospital field. That's for sure. Oh, the Right Reverend Rawhide says, I'd have to be dead to miss a show. Check that out. That's awesome.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It is pretty awesome. You got to love that. So, I actually, Corny, I didn't do a show because I'm doing 2 per day now, and I have been for probably about 6 or 8 weeks straight. And I didn't do a show a few weeks ago because I went out to do something else, and I didn't want to come back and not be prepared for the show, so I just didn't do it. And with my live streams, I don't schedule them in advance because the way YouTube sets it up, if you schedule it, then it makes that the date of it, and then people never see it as you produce more videos. So
yeah.
I usually wait till the day of and then do it, in the morning or a few hours before, and then that people get notified. Because if you do it a week in advance, I'm going to have a stream next Monday, then people don't see the notification. So anyway, what happened is I didn't do a stream at noon, and my phone just blew up, and my email account blew up. Chris, are you okay? What happened? Your show wasn't on. Did I miss it? Did you get shadow banned? What's going on? Are you okay? Something wrong? It was really, really awesome to see all that concern, but I felt kind of guilty I didn't do the show. So now if I'm like, I don't feel like doing a show today, it's like, suck it up. People are waiting. Get on air.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I think it's amazing to see that the community that you've built up through people watching your videos, and obviously the support is such a beautiful thing to see. Yeah, I think, and that's, sorry, not to pull this onto me now, but I think that's sort of what I'm trying to capture with Never for Fame is specifically people that have a dream or a goal or are very passionate about something, and their intentions are in the right place. Those people are the people that truly reach great heights, and they are the ones that they become famous or true fame, where they're unforgettable, if you will. And yeah, that's I think the message with my brand at the end of the day is that you shouldn't do it for the clicks and the likes and the stuff. You should do it out of the passion that you have for it. And I think, sorry, Chris, this basically translates to what you're saying now, is that you have a community that are deeply invested in you because they see the passion and, the effort that you're putting into the show. And I think that generates that great response.
No, that's kind of you. I think that has to be the case. I mean, honestly, people, it's interesting. Those who come to the channel, those who stay. I mean, a lot of people on YouTube are kind of, they're passersby. They may come and get really engaged with the channel and be deeply into it, and then something else comes along, or they're busy and they neglect it, they forget about it, and then next thing you know, you don't see them for a while. But some people are truly passionate and hang around, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, being a drive-by fan or supporter is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's one of the reasons why people were saying, well, how come you don't have memberships on the channel? I'm like, well, why do you want memberships? And then I started paying closer attention to it, and I understood the reasoning behind it. And while on other places like Patreon, people set outrageously high prices like $15,000 a month to be a member of a channel, or $100 a month to be a member of a channel for content. On here, I said, let me just make this simple, and I made it like $1.99 a month for the entry level, which in South Africa, because the way YouTube does things, they charge 10 Rand a month. So I mean, that's trust me. After YouTube takes its 30%, and then the federal government takes 28% for taxes, and the state government takes 6% for taxes, I get about 32 cents a month for every person as a member at the entry level. So it's not about making money; it's about community. And I think your comments are spot on. It really is about community, and I like that. We get a few intentional political trolls who come on here and try to disrupt things, but my moderators are doing a pretty good job of controlling that of late, so I'm grateful for them. But it really is interesting. I guess for you, in some respects, since you're at home, you're doing your work, you're drawing, you're contributing, you're giving back to a community, but you don't have that white noise in the background of people trying to disrupt you because they don't like your artwork. So that must be nice to be able to not have that distraction. For me, I've got the chat, and if someone's misbehaving, I'm trying to talk to my guest, I'm trying to do things, and I got people over here misbehaving. So it's
yeah, I think that's the fortunate thing is when I design, I get to go into my own world, and I think that's just one of the things that I love about it is you can have moments where you think of your entire life, and you can have moments where you literally enter what I call caveman mode, where you think of nothing except the phrase. Like I've drawn a piece for 8-9 hours where I got lost in it, and the only thing that I had was like I think it was some Elvis song. What was it? Moody Blue. And it was just 8 hours just thinking Moody Blue. And so that's the nice thing is you get to have your own personal journeys with it.
So Hendo said this show is easier than being shot at during the Iraq War. Okay. Okay. I would hope so. Raptor Man came out a little while ago, and I don't know if this is Russian or Greek. It looks like Russian. He's got it next to his name. I hadn't seen that before. He says, "Who's the hair? What's he speaking about?" Well, the hair is Never for Fame, Corné Nel, who is an artist on our channel today as a guest, and we're talking to him about his artwork and some of the things he does. It's pretty interesting stuff. He's doing it full time now. It's his profession now. So you guys should check it out. We've got all the links to social media for his stuff, but his preferred method to reach him is through Instagram. So check that out. We've been showing that on the screen. That's who the hair is. I guess they like your haircut. People say they like my haircut, but they're just being kind. I mean, this now it's out of control. That's why the hat's on. But they're just being kind. I don't think my haircut's very good. I like my hair when it was longer after I let it grow. But yeah, your hair does look kind of cool. It's got kind of that, clash. Who cares? Tossed to the side, new wave look of the 1980s. You could be in the Romantics. I hear the secrets that you keep when you're talking in your sleep. Or the Ramones. Maybe it could have been in the Ramones. It's a good look, but apparently someone liked that. So let's see what else we got here in comments before we... Oh, and then I saw here that Hendo... Oh, no, sorry. Where's this at? Someone said, oh yeah, it was Nigel says that in his younger days he used to be a model. Now that's interesting. We didn't know that about Nigel. And Gentleman Inflatable says he enjoys the content. Well, I'm glad you do, and I hope you guys are enjoying this content, folks. Listen, let me put this back up on the screen really quickly. We're talking to Corné Nel, who is known as Never for Fame, which is a really cool tagline. I love that. So let's put it back up on the screen. Now, this one I like, Corné. I like them all, but this one's really awesome. It makes me think of, I don't know, what was that show? Oh gosh, from the 1990s, the Twin Peaks. It makes me think of Twin Peaks. You've got an owl here with these the forest in the background. That's a really cool one. I like that double exposure owl.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's exactly like you're saying there. It was me trying something different with my artwork, trying to go out of my comfort zone. I was fortunate that ended up the way it did. But yeah, it's the inspiration for that actually came from the show True Detective. It was I was binge watching, and those intros are all double exposure, so I thought, like, let me put my owl in there.
That first series for that show, True Detective, with Woody Harrelson and who's that?
Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey. That was like spellbinding. You couldn't stop watching it. It was just like glued to the set, binge watching it through. I had a little trouble not keeping up with it, but sticking with it after that. Although it was still good, but I mean the first one was so good. It's like, how do you top this? This is off the charts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the second season, we've tried watching it 3 times now, but we just fall out of it. It doesn't captivate you like the first one did.
Absolutely, I agree with that. Now, I want to ask you a question about this one, because this puts me in mind of something I've seen in the past, but I really can't place it. But here you go. So this is like a really evil Bugs Bunny, it looks like. Is that what it is? An evil Bugs Bunny, or am I just am I getting it wrong?
Yeah, yeah, I think that's another bit of a movie inspiration. The Joker from The Dark Knight Rises. He had this very cynical way of laughing, and Bugs Bunny, being that part of humor. I thought that was a perfect blend. Bugs Bunny in his own way is an agent of chaos. I think that was the main inspiration for that. So those two worlds colliding, I thought that was a cool idea.
Now, Batman Fundameva, okay, that's clever. Batman Fundameva says, "Oh, come on, that's the Joker Bunny."
Yeah. That's exactly it.
So Rudy Rue asked a question. He says, "Can you ask Corné what the dimensions are of his artwork?" Good question.
That's a bit tough to answer because all my artwork is vector based. So it depends on the application, if you want to put it into a certain social media style or if you want to use it on a certain item. That's why I generally scale it. But my work is vector based, so I can blow it up or shrink it to any size, to be honest.
All right. Well, that's I kind of figured that. That way you don't lose any distortions. Nothing gets. It just kind of stays the same as you go up. I hate when I have an image and I want to resize it and I can't because it's not vector based. So it just gets all distorted. It's useless. That's very frustrating. Yeah. So cool. Well, Corny, this is really interesting stuff. Come on, folks. If you're on Instagram, go check out his channel and follow him on there. I mean, this is really cool stuff. And reach out to Corné if you'd like to get, I don't know, a tattoo design, or you want to get a drawing of some sort be done. He can do some amazing work. There's a link to his Instagram account once again. So Corny, as we get close to the top of the hour here, is there anything you'd like to share with us about your art that might be interesting that we haven't really covered yet, that maybe that we just don't know about you?
I think that in the coming months, the identity of the brand will become clear. But it's just for me. It's a good question to answer. I don't really know what to say here. I think it's just if people are interested in my artwork and if they do want to reach out, I think they will get something that's very personalized. I put a lot of effort into all of my art. I strive to have a certain level of quality in them. So, if that's a plug that I have to do, that's pretty much it.
Sorry, I'm just passing some information here, but now that you finished, I'll share it with the spoken word. Rudy Rue was asking, if you're not on Instagram, how can you get a hold of Corné? Well, just go to any of the social media links, and there's a bunch of them below the video in the description on the channel. So if you go below each video, the content creators oftentimes put a description of what it is. In this case, I actually have the links before the stream, so you can go there and you can find all of his links, like on Behance and also on Instagram, on Facebook, all those places. You can follow Corné there, and you can get in touch with him if you don't have Instagram. A lot of people still don't have Instagram. It surprised me how big it is, yet how many people don't use Instagram. It's like TikTok. TikTok has all these followers, but I'm not one of them. And now that the Orange Man Bad has said that they really are bad, no, I'm not going to be a TikTok user.
It's I think I did provide Chris with all the links if anyone wants to get in touch with me. I'm quite responsive on all my social media platforms. Unfortunately, the last few days I've just been absent. We had some internet difficulties, but I do believe the links are provided. Just send me a message and we'll take it from there.
All right, cool beans. So if one other comment came across here, Nigel said that you should do airbrushing for bikers. It would look cool on their bike tanks. Interesting idea.
Yeah. Well, if that opportunity comes up and I can put my stamp on that, we'll give it a go.
And Yanni, okay, this is coming up in a moment, but Yanni just gave a super chat. It'll come up on the screen here in a moment. I'm going to get to it now. There it is. Says, Chris, Corné is really talented. I will promote his artwork he does for my channel for sure. Support local. Oh, hashtag support local, hashtag locals lecker. That's clever.
No, that's true.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, I think,
go ahead.
No, sorry. Just to say, when you said local is like, I think that from a South African perspective, we've had the stigma for years where if people say that it's a South African that did it, and there was this generalization that the quality is not where it's supposed to be compared to the rest of the world. And I think that South Africa was in that inertia where we're starting to realize that our artists locally are on the same level as international artists. And I think that, supporting local artists, it's a good way forward.
No, I absolutely agree. And not just art, but across the board, South African businesses. One of the things I do on the channel, and folks who follow the channel frequently know that oftentimes I'll do free advertisements for South African businesses, just to get people to buy South African goods, buy locally rather than buying imported things that sometimes are dodgy origin or provenance, aren't as good a quality. Just because they're less expensive doesn't mean you're getting a better product coming from countries, I don't know, like say China, just saying. But anyway.
Careful there.
No, it's Corné, we laugh, but it's a big deal. I mean, if you go back 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, 90% of the textiles sold in South Africa were manufactured in South Africa. And about 80% of the shoes were manufactured in South Africa. Now it's about 10% of shoes and 25, maybe 30% of clothing is actually made in South Africa. The rest is all made in Southeast Asia. And it's just to destroy the textile market in South Africa and had a very deleterious effect on the wealth of South Africans as that money has poured out of the country to East Asia instead of staying in South Africa. It's a really sad situation. It's not unique to South Africa, but it's been especially devastating to Southern Africa and South Africa and Lesotho in particular.
No, I agree definitely, and I think it's unfortunate because South Africa, we as a country, we have so much potential, we have so much passion in our citizens, our people have so much passion, and we are so rich in culture. We have so much to provide to the world that it's unfortunate that, and not to go too much about this, but we have a government that isn't supporting our people in that sense, and they're just trying to enrich themselves. I think the people of South Africa are wonderful, and our diversity it only serves to strengthen us and the potential that we have. And I think if we wake up to that, we can truly achieve great things.
Well, I can't disagree with you there, Corny. I think those are excellent sentiments and a great word. Listen, folks, we've been talking with Corné Nel, also known as Never for Fame. Cool tagline if you ever had one, Never for Fame. I love it. Corné and I were talking about, he said he doesn't do the artwork for fame. I said, okay, I got your point there. But listen, people got to know who you are, man. So we got to tell people who you are, or your artwork won't go anywhere. People won't see it. So it may not be, it may be never for fame, but it's got to be, or certainly never for notoriety, but certainly it's got to be at least seen and heard. So that's one of the reasons why we brought you on today, to kind of get a bit wider audience exposure to you so people can learn about your artwork. And I haven't seen anybody who's not been incredibly impressed by the artwork that you've done here. I think it's amazing. And I thank you for your contributions with your artwork. And now I'm feeling kind of guilty here. Ronaldo has artwork from you. Yanni tells me he's commission your artwork for his channel. Now I'm going to have to commission Corné and drive some business his way to get some kind of artwork for my channel, or I'm going to be left out in the cold, the only one. And and here I am in the Northern Hemisphere. It's summertime, so I would appreciate being out in the cold, but not literally in the cold.
Oh, Chris, thank you. I appreciate that. I think all I'm going to respond to with that is you've got the links where you can get in touch with me to get personalized artworks.
Yeah, so Nigel's asking if he can rejoin the WhatsApp group. He's over his rant. I didn't know Nigel left the WhatsApp group, so that's news to me. So I had to check into that. What's this? Rudy says, we still have great opportunities for those who wish to make a living with crafted goods. Yanni pointed out that craft work will be the future. Well, it certainly is a market that's out there. Cinema Blue, I don't know if that's somebody you know, because I don't recall Cinema Blue on the channel before, but Cinema Blue showed up today, said Never for Fame, got some talent. Well, I can't argue with that. That's that's a good statement right there. Got some talent.
Thank you. I'm truly humbled by everyone's reaction to my artwork. It's honestly, if I can just say this, I've never really tried to draw something, like I would draw inspiration from something, but I've never really tried to draw something that is trendy or super popular or anything. And to see that people still respond positively to my artwork, even though it's something that I personally enjoy watching, and I don't think a lot of other people would, it's truly amazing. I'm truly humbled by it. Thank you so much.
Awesome. And I want to share this because I didn't want to miss this comment. By the way, folks, if you're on the channel and you see some hiccups in chat, you should know that by default, YouTube puts you in what's called top chat, so that you don't see all the chat comments. It's just the people who comment most frequently, or members, or people who are frequently on there. And that happens to me as well. So sometimes I miss comments because, not because there's so many coming across, although that does happen in some streams, but because it's defaulted to top chat instead of live chat. So you just go to the top of the chat, toggle that little drop down thing, and switch to live chat, and you catch all those. So I just switched over to live chat because one of my windows with the chat was not showing me live chat. And I see a comment here from Mara Fori. And Mara Fori says, I love your work, or your artwork, Corné. So I just want to share that with you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Well, I got some more comments coming in. Anne-Marie Forster says, not just a good artist, a well-spoken young man. Love the passionate way he promotes South Africa. Well, I agree with that. And Kalpana Sony says, respect for the artist. That's awesome. Really, really, really nice things people are saying.
No, thank you. I honestly, once again, I'll just say I truly appreciate the response and seeing people respond so positively to my stuff. I'm humbled by it. I'm not a man of a lot of words, but thank you. I appreciate that.
That's awesome. So listen, what I'd like to do is leave an invitation for you to come back on the channel at some point, and maybe a few months down the road, if we see how progress is going, if business is going well, if you've picked up more followers on your different social media, and if you're getting business. I'd be curious to see how it's going for you. The business impact of COVID-19 and the National Coronavirus Command Council's ludicrous lockdown is disturbing for a lot of folks. And you can see it ripple out in so many ways. Reese Fundeveld, who's on the channel, she's a small business owner, runs a hair salon, and that had a devastating impact on her industry with the lockdown, because of course you can't maintain social distance when you've got to cut somebody's hair, right? So for me, it's interesting to bring people on who are involved in some sort of economic activity, and you are with your artwork. So it would be interesting to see if people, the impact of people being retrenched, or the slowdown economics, if that delays your business, or if it starts to pick up. Because if your business picks up, it might be one small sign that things are improving in South Africa. So I'd like to invite you back on the channel if you're willing to come back on at some point.
Oh, definitely, Chris. I'd love that. Thank you.
And we're just now reaching our peak of viewers. What I tell people this all the time. You know, you bring a guest on, you discuss fascinating topics, you have a wonderful guest who shares lots of things, and occasionally a host who, when they cough, turns off their microphone and forgets they've got the microphone off. But that's another story. I got to get one of those mics like Yanni has. He has with the red cover, so you tap on it and it goes silent, it goes black, and then you know your mic's off, and you can unmute it like that. But because I have to unmute mine in the thing here, and then I'm like, oh, it's anyway. So, but you have a guest on, you have a really good stream going, and it's wonderful. And then you get to the top of the hour, and it's time to close out. And then you look, and suddenly a whole bunch of new people come in. You're like, hey, what's going on here? Who's the guest? What's it all about? Hey, did I miss anything?
Yeah, no, I think it's just a little curse that I have unfortunate timing. So let's put it that way.
No, that's everybody. That's just the case. It just seems to be a YouTube. It's a YouTube thing. By the way, folks kept breaking news in the chat that this isn't news, because I think you're all doing supposition based on a News 24 report saying that Ramaphosa has been advised, the National Coronavirus Command Council has been advised to lift the alcohol and cigarette ban. Well, yeah, they've been advised by top scientists for that for over 6 weeks now. So I don't, apparently they claim they have 4 sources. They've been advised. Whether they're going to do it is the question. They've been getting advised for weeks. So until they announce the lifting of both, I wouldn't hold my breath if you're looking for smokes or you're looking for booze. And at least not the stuff that comes from illicit traders, but genuine stuff from traders. So I wouldn't get too excited about it, folks, but it is something developing. I don't know if that affects you, Corné, if you imbibe a bit here and there, or if you're a smoker, but perhaps good news on the short-term horizon for the 11 to 12 million tobacco users in South Africa, as well as the probably 30 million alcohol drinkers.
I am personally connected to. Let me not rather put it this way. She's gonna tan my hide later. My girlfriend, she works in the wine industry, so she has been affected with this alcohol ban, and just hearing from what she's been telling me, there's been some devastating results regarding that. And unfortunately, if this ban is not lifted soon, then it translates into years worth of damage. Just in terms of the farmers, the processes that they go through, and it's not just a stop and start button for those guys. It's years worth of planning that now you have to restructure, you have to change. So if that is something that is lifted, I welcome the news. I'm truly happy about that. And also, I want to have a beer again. So.
Well, it's I've talked about that endlessly. I did videos early on when no one else was talking about the impact of the wine industry. When I noticed the ban on alcohol transport right after the March 27th lockdown started, I did a video and said, wait, stop. This is insane. This is insane. You are going to damage your export market. Half of the revenue and 3/4 of the profit in wine, the industry in South Africa, comes from the export market.
Yes.
And if you are not a reliable supplier to the export market, people will turn elsewhere. They'll buy Australian wine. They'll buy Chilean wine. They'll buy German wine instead of buying South African wines.
Yes.
And in fact, we've seen the damage to that. I can go to the local package store here, which we had an alcohol ban, but it was lifted. And the reason they could do that is because the alcohol stores belong to the state. They're parastatals. We have our own parastatals in some place in America, which I don't care for. But anyway, so I went to the alcohol store when they reopened, and within a couple of days, there were no South African wines because there's no supplies coming in because they had stopped transporting. Now, that was lifted after they went to the courts, but then when they reimposed it, they did it again. And that disruption is one thing. But the other piece is that, I find it very, because I used to be a farmer, not a vintner, but I did have grapes, but that was for eating the grapes, not for making wine. But you can't simply ignore it. You don't just go out, as Michael Bloomberg famously said, I can make anybody a farmer. You stick a seed in the ground, you pour water on it, and out it grows. Well, thank you for your flaming ignorance and your bigotry, Michael Bloomberg. Being a farmer, being a vintner is far more intensive. You have to cultivate, you have to trim, you have to prune, you have to fertilize, you have to clean weeds, you have to do this year round. It isn't simply an event that takes place. Yeah. And then while you're doing all that, you're harvesting grapes, you're smashing grapes, you're squeezing them, you're pulling the residue aside, you're bottling stuff, the list goes on and on. There's always something going on. And with the lockdown and people can't be around each other, you disrupt the process. And disrupting the process now has an impact, not today, but today, tomorrow, next month, next year, 5 years down the road. And so, it really is disturbing. But I think now, I didn't ask you where you're from there, but where you live, but now I'm guessing you must be in the Western Cape.
Oh, no.
Okay.
On the contrary, I'm Gauteng boykie.
Okay. That's right. I know. We talked about this from in Boksburg. Is that right?
Yeah, it's weird. I get flack for it a lot. It's funny. I don't know why I'm so proud to be from Boksburg, but I'm super proud of it. And a funny thing was when we were at the Gallery of Champions, you had proper artists, people who studied for it and work with the media full time. And it was interesting to me. It was all their bios. They were like Western Cape artist, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, I went precise. I was like, Boksburg born, Corné Nel. So it's, yeah.
No, there's nothing wrong with being proud of where you're from. I mean, yesterday Johan Wort was on my channel. He's from Nelspruit, and he's very proud of being from Nelspruit. And when I asked him if the coolest rugby player he's ever met as a result of being a rugby photographer, he wasn't shy to say Dwayne Vermeulen. And I didn't know where Dwayne Vermeulen was from, but I'm a Stormers fan. He plays for the Stormers, and I'm huge. I think he's probably about the best disposition in the world historically. He's been really good at it. And he mentioned he's from Nelspruit. I didn't even know that. So there's nothing wrong with being proud where you're from. I mean, maybe if you're from Zeerust, it might be a little dodgy, but other than that, it's not too bad.
Well, we form part of what we call the 3 Bs, Brakpan, Benoni, and Boksburg. And we are known for, or let me rather say, we are not known for our elegance on this side. So, yeah.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. So that's interesting. Well, let's see. So we've talked about your art. We've shown people where it's at. Let me put up on the screen very quick again the 2 sites that we were looking at. So we're going to put up your Instagram page first, just so people can get a quick look at it again in case you've tuned in late. So my guest today has been Corné Nel, also known as Never for Fame, who does these digital illustrations. And check it out. Some really cool work. And look at this. Corné follows 606 people on Instagram, and he has 285 followers. That is a crying shame. Let's get that fixed, folks. Spread the word about Corné Nel. I mean, if the dude has the courtesy to follow 606 people, we could at least get him 607 people following him. Come on. I mean, he's had some talent here. Look at this. South Africa has talent. Oh, that sounds like a reality show. South Africa has talent. Anyway, so this is some of his work he's done here and there. For those of you who know this certain Nelson Mandela Bay YouTuber, you might recognize this, the sec cap with the Pickle Rick, Cyril Ramaphosa, and the, I want to say it's a raisin, but I know it's actually a turd, Julius Malema on the other side there, and a couple of tweet birds flying out there. But that's Ronaldo Hus. Well done on your part. Also, here he is, Quagga Smith, did this drawing of Quagga Smith for the Rugby World Cup. Pretty awesome. By the way, Quagga Smith has re-signed with his Japanese club. He's not going to come back to South Africa. So interesting. He enjoys his club there in Japan for another 2 years. So this is some of his work, and this is on his other page on Behance, which is a Adobe site that promotes artists and content creators. And here's some of his work over there. Some really cool stuff here. So I hope you guys check it out. That's Never for Fame, Corné Nel. He's been my guest today. Corny, I want to thank you so much for coming on. And again, when you are like massively famous and huge all over, and you have 10 million freaking subscribers and followers, don't forget that I asked you to come on here first, and we got the word out about you.
Thank you. Yeah, let's see if that happens, because as the name says, it's never for fame. So, but Chris, thank you. I appreciate the publicity and taking an interest in my work, and thank you to your viewers for tuning in, having to listen to what I say, and thank you so much for the positive response to my work. It's truly, I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart.
Well, that's awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna put you in the waiting room, and I'll catch back up with you in a little bit here. I'm gonna wrap up the show and thank my viewers. And thanks a lot, Corny. It's been a real pleasure, and thanks a lot for coming on the channel. I really, really enjoyed your time here.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks, everyone.
All right, so now this this is fun, folks. Hang on, let me get rid of that one. Let me get rid of that one. And let me get back to that one. There you go. Well, look at that. That almost worked perfectly. Well, folks, thanks for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed it. Yanni, thank you for the super chat. That was awesome. 70 Rand super chat. Yanni van der Walt. Folks, that's Corné Nel. Never for fame. And he says never for fame, and I appreciate the humility. But ladies and gentlemen, if you don't get people to know who you are and they don't see your work, then how can they know, right? How can you build a base? How can you make money? And the gentleman's trying to make a living from this now, and he's incredibly talented. So let's try to drive some viewership to his social media accounts. All of those are in the links below this video description. So go down there and check it out. By the way, if you're not a subscriber to Chris White Africa, why not become one? This channel is all things Africa, and not just Africa. We also cover the U.S. and geopolitics, but we really focus on Africa, and especially on the live streams and a lot of the interviews with South Africa, but not exclusively. So why not check it out? It's the low introductory and permanent price of 0 Rand, 0 shekels, $0, 0 pounds to become a subscriber. Absolutely free. You can do it. There's no harm, no foul. No one knows if you're a subscriber, only you know. So smash the subscription button right down there. Now, I don't get caught up in the fame game myself. I don't care if I have, 10 million subscribers. Actually, I do care. But the reason I care is not because it strokes my ego. Trust me, my ego is big enough. I don't need any help stroking my ego. I can take care of that myself. It helps because it makes it easier to get interesting and famous guests on the program. So, for instance, on Chris White Africa, last week on Friday, we had Steve Hofmeyer on here. Now, I can guarantee you that even though Steve was fantastic and his agent was wonderful and they agreed to come on right away with no preconditions, by the way, it was fantastic. If I'd had 187 subscribers, I don't think I would have been able to get Steve Hofmeyer on my channel. But because people knew about the channel and I was approaching 7,000 subscribers, it was an easy sell to get him on the channel. Tomorrow on the channel, I have Yus Streidem from Orania will be my guest on here. If you want to learn about Orania and what's going on in Orania, dispel a lot of the myths and fantasies and fiction propagated by political nonsense and shenanigan makers who want to spread rumors about what Orania is and what it isn't. And we'll talk about that tomorrow. So that's on the channel tomorrow. So folks, so please check it out. But check out Corné Nel's Never for Fame. All the links are just below this. I think you'll find it quite interesting. And who knows, maybe you want a tattoo design and he can do that for you. Maybe you want your fuel tank on your motorcycle airbrushed. Maybe you want a drawing done for your personal website or for the wall in your house or something like that, or for a family friend as a gift. Check it out. Really talented guy. I'm really happy that I got him out here before he became really big and blew up and he became too important for me, too cool for school. Although I don't think that. He seems like a very humble person. Don't think that'll ever happen to him. But let's blow up Corné Nel's Never for Fame so that people check into it and start driving some business this way. And folks, thanks a lot for tuning in. I'll do a Stray Voltage Night Owls edition later today. That'll be at 9:35, 3:35 Eastern Standard Time here in the U.S., 9:35 in South Africa and Botswana, which makes it 8:35 in Namibia, Nigeria, and the United Kingdom. So that will be in about 2 hours and 25 minutes, folks. So feel free to come back and check that out. And we'll talk about news and updates about what's going on around the world and just get some feedback from people and get your comments. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in for my special featured guest, and I will see you either later and tomorrow as well on the special feature with Yus Streidem Striedem from Oranje. And I forgot to mention, on Friday, Winston Kotsia will be on the channel. Winston's an Afrikaans musician. He did a recent song called Ek Bly een Boer. I remain a Boer, always a Boer. So check that out. That'll be on Friday on my special feature. You should find that interesting as well. And that follows in my series of bringing musical talent on the program. Started with Giselle and brought the Boer Meisie from Grootfontein from Namibia. Giselle came on and performed songs from her album Fit Mensa after we did her concert, her live album debut for Fit Mensa. Then she came on and performed on the channel. After that, we had Steve Hofmeyer, who came on for an interview. We did a 2-hour interview with Steve. Now I've broken up some of the segments and started producing smaller videos, so you can follow those along if you like, instead of watching the whole 2 hours, or if you want to go back and watch what Steve said about serving in the South African Defense Force and what he said about Afrikaans music. I'm making small segments, so hopefully you can check those out as well. And then with Winston, this will be the third Afrikaans musician that I've had on the channel. So it should be quite interesting, folks. So please tune in for all the stuff we got going on. By the way, I did a video earlier, if anybody caught it. I've come up with a new segment for my channel. I call it the Stupid Comments segment. So whenever people post ridiculous nonsense on my channel, I did a previous one. I know it's kind of a takeoff what Ronaldo does with his funny comments or his mean comments section, but mine is my stupid comments segment. Whenever people say something absolutely stupid, and in particular, this is driven by the fact that I produce a video and then people read the title and then they write some nonsense, you know, what about this, what about that? And so this particular one, I had a guy come on and say, watch the There Are No Farm Murders in South Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa, which of course is a quote from Ramaphosa. I did that, and then this guy comes on and says, well, what are you talking about? Only white people, I say only white people affects everybody, blah, blah, blah. Dude, that's exactly what I said in the video. Take a moment and read it. So stupid comments. So, you know, stupid is as stupid does, you know, life's a box of chocolates, all that nonsense. Here's your sign. Anyway, so I'm now doing a segment called Stupid Comments, and depending on the comments, I may do one or more, but this one video was just about the one comment. There was enough to say about the one comment that it took me about 6 or 7 minutes to say it. So I hope you find that interesting as well, but thank you for tuning in for the channel, and everybody have a good day, and I'll see some folks here a little bit later on. Southern Metalhead says, Hail Supreme Benevolent Dear Leader. Erica did see that one. Okay, cool. Kobus says, thank you for everything, bringing us this talent. Yeah, he is really talented. Cool. And I will see you guys in a bit. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Where's my closing out video? Here it is. All right, folks, we'll see you in a little bit on the channel for the Night Owls edition here on Chris White Africa.
Hey, Chris. Yeah. No problem.
Flying Boris just given a $5 Canadian super chat. Is Ronaldo ANC liberal? What's with you and him? I'm not sure what your question is there, Flying Boar, but thank you for the super chat. He is a classical liberal and slightly to left of scale, although he comes out somewhere in the middle. I have appeared on his channel, and we talk about politics. So thanks a lot for the super chat, Flying Boar. Folks, have a good evening, and we'll catch folks here in about 2 hours.